of States endorses peace agreement between government and the group of Yao Yao. Ministry of Telecommunications to connect the country to optic fiber cable for internet. More than 13,000 students begin South Sudan secondary school exams on Friday. Thank you for joining us on SSTV News Hour, and my name is Oyet Patrick. Let's have a look at the news in details now. The Council of States, in its sitting on Thursday under the chairmanship of the acting Speaker, Honorable Aldo Ajo, unanimously passed the agreement between the government and South Sudan Democratic Movement Cobra faction led by David Yao Yao, signed in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on the 9th of May 2014. The head of the government peace negotiation team, Clement Janda, who is also the chairperson of the Council of Specialized Committee for Political and International Relations, commended the government's effort to restore peace and stability in the country.
States, it's an extraordinary meeting of today, passed unanimously, ratified the agreement between the Republic of South Sudan and SSPA Cobra faction, which was signed on the 9th of May this year.
وأنا متأكد بدي نحن نرتكب فيه شديد عشان ما يكون في ضغط في الأمن عشان المنطقة ينمو. الناس اتفقوا ويعملوا حاجة. فأنا متأكد بكل تأكيد عن سؤالك دي هيتعمل.
The National Minister of Interior, Aleo Ayenya Leo, delivered a message from the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, to the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir for promoting bilateral relations between the two countries. In a statement to the press, Aleo says his visit to the Republic of Sudan is to follow up the implementation of the cooperation agreement signed between Juba and Khartoum.
خاصة الاتفاقيات التسعة اللي اتفقنا عليها في التعاون بين الدولتين. جيت بجاهزية من دولة الجنوب لتنفيذ 9 اتفاقيات، وخاصة الملف اللي وزارتين، وزارة الداخلية حكومة الجنوب ووزارة الداخلية بتاعت حكومة السودان، فمن بينهم رياد الأربعة، ومنهم برضو ممرات في الحدود لتسهيل العلاقات التجارية بين الدولتين. ففي الالتقاء مع الحكومة بتاعت السودان لقيت يعني هم they received me with all the respect we expected. فنحن برضو جاهزين عشان ننفذ الكلام ده، وانا متاكد في شهر شهرين العلاقات هتكون احسن من كده، وهتكون مبنية على الصدق والشفافية.
The Ministries of Telecommunications and Postal Services and Transport, Roads and Bridges have signed a memorandum of understanding for construction of a highway, road and fiber optic cable from Lokichokio in Kenya through Nadapal in eastern Equatorial State to Juba. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Telecommunications, Engineer Juma Stephen Loga, signed on behalf of his ministry, and Undersecretary of the Ministry of Roads signed on behalf of the Ministry of Roads. A two-day workshop on South Sudan dialogue for concept note for malaria, tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS kicked off in Juba on Thursday. More on this story in the following report.
The National Minister of Health, Dr. Yagai Cook, disclosed that $250 million was spent on malaria, tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS to mitigate health issues facing the country. He says his ministry is working to reduce malaria cases by 80% in 2020. Dr. Guy pointed that the new program is to include training of human resources from the grassroots and other human personnel, while the consultant for the Global Fund, Chris Alando, explained that the objectives, history of Global Fund on the new funding model, allocation and program split for implementation for South Sudan in the major 3 diseases, and funding methodology.
The community should join in on development efforts. How to stop the infection between mothers and the newly born children, rights and prevention of mother-to-child transmission. How to ensure that knowledge about and awareness about HIV reaches the entire population of South Sudan.
The dialogue for the concept note for the major diseases drew all state ministers of health, non-governmental organizations, partners and health agencies working in South Sudan, as well as donors. For South Sudan Television, Diakwe Paul Machoy.
More than 13,000 students will sit for South Sudan's secondary school examinations in 101 centers across the country. The exams begin on Friday. Among the candidates, 70% are boys. 161 internally displaced students from the 3 conflict-affected states are shifted to Juba. The Deputy Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Bol Makweng, says the government has ensured there is security around the examination centers to protect the candidates. He said the examination papers have been dispatched earlier to the designated centers in all the 10 states.
The South Sudanese students are going to sit exams in 101 examination centers. The number of students sitting is 13,721. Out of this number, 70% are boys and 30 are girls. We also have 1,553 students who are displaced from the 3 regions of Jonglei, Upper Nile, and Unity. These students are around in Juba here, and we have also made centers for them to sit like any other students. In addition, we have 161 refugee students who are also part of the students that will be sitting. So we in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, we congratulate all these students for this occasion of examination.
We have already prepared ourselves as the Department of Examination, or in particular, and means of education in general. The preparation, as usual, we have been distributed the examinations before a week to the states. And I think up to now, every state has taken its examination. So we remain now for the beginning of the first day or the first subject tomorrow on Friday. We prepare also, we went and assess some centers here in Juba, especially the centers which are located in camps. We went yesterday as a team, and according to our evaluation, really educationally, we got it the centers are really good.
The Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Lily Albina Kolakol, held a meeting with her Upper Nile counterpart and a delegation of Farmers Union, as well as a group of non-governmental organizations operating in the field of agriculture. The meeting explored ways to address problems facing agriculture, including lack of enough funds, agricultural tools, among others. Speaking to SSTV after the meeting, the Undersecretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Jaden Emilio Tongun, said his ministry, in collaboration with Food and Agricultural Organization FAO, would distribute seeds to Farmers Union. He added that the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining pledges to provide fuel for tractors to increase food production.
The Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Lily Albina Akolakol, held a meeting with her Upper Nile counterpart and a delegation from Farmers Union, as well as a group of developmental companies operating in the field of agriculture. The meeting explored ways to address problems facing agriculture, including lack of funds, agricultural tools, among others. Speaking to SSTV after the meeting, the Undersecretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Jaden Emilio Tongun, said his ministry, in collaboration with Food and Agricultural Organization FAO, would distribute seeds to farmers' unions. He added that the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining pledges to provide fuel for tractors to increase food production.
Actually, it's how the ministry and the partners can assist and help provide some agricultural inputs to Upper Nile State farmers for the success of agriculture season 2014.
The Minister of Agriculture in Upper Nile State, Diu Chan, appreciates efforts of the National Ministry of Agriculture in supporting agricultural activities in the state.
عشان نجي نشوف التمويل بتاع مصر الزراعي، فهسه نحن انتهينا من اجتماع مع وزيرها بخصوص التمويل، ونحن اطمنا انه المواد التمويليه حيوصل ولايه عن النيل. لقينا الكلام مطمن انه وزاره البترول الحكوميه هيدينا بترول، وفي وفد هيسافر لجوبا.
He called on the concerned bodies to join hands for the success of the work. For South Sudan Television, Eddie Stephen reporting.
Made the call. The government of Eastern Equatoria State urges sub-clans of Otuho community to live in peace with their neighbors. The state governor, Louis Lobong, made this remark during his visit to the two villages of Tangul and Ifarang. Gore Anthony reports.
Acquaintance visit to the inhabitants of Tangol and Ifarang of Eastern Equatoria State during the tragic event that occurred in Kiliongore Boma in Hialapayam of Torit, which displaced some of the community members from their homes, more than 30 grass-thatched houses being burned to ashes, and at least 2 people confirmed dead. Louis Lobong further pleaded with the two communities of Tangol and Ifarang to stop the senseless killing and embrace the spirit of peace, unity, and live in harmony as one people from the same community. Governor Lobong added that the state government is doing all its best to bring calm to the situation. He also appealed to humanitarian agencies and the national government to support the two communities with relief assistance.
The population, the people of Triangle, had fought among themselves and killed some people and wounded some people and burned houses. And that they have run away from the village after we sent the police. The purpose of my coming is to witness by myself exactly the destruction that has happened. And also to appeal to them to come back to the village, to bring confidence among themselves, bring security so that the people can come in. And the rest of the thing will take place after that. We'll try to investigate the culprit and we'll make sure that the culprits are arrested and brought to book and taken to court. So this was the purpose of my visit here. And I came with the partners also so that they can assist those families that have been affected, for which their houses have been burned
and maybe their food has also been looted, so that we can assist them, and so that they have some shelters, and cooking utensils, and some food, so that they start weeding, so that they produce food for themselves. Briefly, this was the purpose of my coming here.
So from my son, how soon?
Well, I think we are going to have a meeting again in Torit, maybe probably today or tomorrow, and see the partners, those who are ready to assist us.
Meanwhile, the Commission of Torit County, German Charles, urges the two communities of Tangol and Ifarang to sort out their differences in peaceful dialogues. German call on the leaders of Tangol and Ifarang to come and talk to their people at the grassroots to embrace peace and reconciliation in the community.
Robbing of animals is not good. It's not good. In fact, when I learned of the accident, I mobilized the forces who came and rescued the situation. And at the moment, the forces are here, but unfortunately, the community who involved in fighting are not around. So I'm calling upon them to come back home. Both camps should come back home, so that the government will take some procedures of reconciling them in order for them to regain their natural life after reconciliation, so that they can stay together. There should be unity among themselves, because my people here are one people. The Tirangore is just one village, and they are of the same clans. They are of the same families. So I look it as so much shameful if such action can happen in their area.
In another development, the Council of Ministers in Eastern Equatoria State, under the chairmanship of the state governor, Louis Lobong, passed the proposal of 2 payams of Lorema and Napa in Budi County of Torit. In a statement to press after the meeting, the government official, spokesperson and Minister of Information, Kelemen Laku, said the state government has approved the 2 payams and will be included in the rest of other payams in the state.
And this was regarding the proposed payams in Budi County. As you know, Budi County was a county which was excluded in the previous payams which were passed. The reason was that because Budi did not come up with their proposal during that time, but this time also the state government looked into it and see to it that they should not be excluded, and they had to come up with their proposals. They came with 4 proposals, payams, and out of the 4, 2 were passed. That is Lorema and Napa. And then the 2 are deferred for further clarification.
SSTV.
The Ministry of Health has declared that the cholera situation in the country is under control. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Makur Koryom, in an exclusive interview with SSTV, says the situation is now under control. This comes just 8 weeks after the country announced cholera outbreak in the capital, Juba. He adds that although there have been recent cases reported in Lopa County of Eastern Equatoria State, the Ministry of Health already has staff and drugs on the ground to minimize loss of lives. Dr. Makur further urges the public to take precautions and report any suspected symptoms of cholera in the community to the nearby health centers.
The outbreak of cholera in Juba 8 weeks ago had seen 2,000 cases reported across the country. The genesis is not yet established. The cholera outbreak in South Sudan since the CPA was first noted in 2007 with the first case in the IDP camps, but with a joint effort, the problem was contained. But this time, after many were sent fleeing to the enemy's IDP camps again, this marked the return of the epidemic to Juba that spread like bushfire, especially in the eastern bank of the Nile in Juba.
If we kept our streets clean, our
That is another good stuff. And we made sure that the food we are eating is well cooked and is well washed. That is one way of addressing these issues and also preventing. So you can see now the mechanism that was developed when this outbreak occurs. We have seen the leadership shown by our minister, Dr. Yanda. It's unprecedented.
But the government now says this situation is under control. Drugs and personnel are said to have been dispersed to the areas reported to have cholera cases.
If your house is clean, surroundings are clean, then you will have done a good job. You will have protected yourself, but also protected the neighbor. When you go to the toilet, wash your hands immediately with the soap. Or if there's no soap, you just use the ash. Cook your food very well. Avoid eating raw food, but if there's a necessity to eat raw food, then you have to wash it thoroughly. Things like vegetables, for example, you must wash them very well before you eat them.
The Undersecretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Makur, blames this to unhygienic environment and believes the movement of people is seeing states like Eastern Equatoria State in caution. 150 cases with 7 deaths have already been reported in Eastern Equatoria, but the main note is cautioning the citizens on the disease.
To prevent or to protect yourself, or to protect your household or your neighbor or the village or the way you live, do the right thing. The right thing is what? Cleanliness, very important, generally. Because when the environment is clean, there will be no more flies. Those flies actually can.
Rain seems to be the contributing factor for faster spread of this disease. It's said that use of ash as soap would help in a situation where soap is not available for hand washing. James Arusatanga, SSTV.
The Ministry of Health in Eastern Equatoria State held an emergency meeting at the State Secretariat and discussed precautionary measures to curb the cholera outbreak in the state. In a statement to SSTV, the State Minister of Health, Dr. Margaret Ito, said the cases of cholera have increased at the state and the Ministry of Health is exerting efforts to ensure the cases reduced by sensitizing the communities on the cases and prevention of the disease.
Mainly in Torit County, we are receiving from 2 payams, but we fear that it may extend because our communities are mobile. So what we have done also is to pass a strong message to our honorable members who attended this meeting that when they go back to the various counties, they have to take precaution because prevention is better than cure. And cholera is a preventable disease. If we talk to our community, sensitize them on clean water, on hygiene, on also having latrines in their individual households, and ensuring that their hands are clean all the time and they wash with soap. So these are what we have been telling them, and also there are other areas like local restaurants and even those who are selling food in open places whereby flies can come and stand. These are also, there are going to be orders. In Torit already, the mayor has already issued an order.
South Sudan National Police on Thursday joined the rest of the world in commemorating the Anti-Narcotic Day. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Lieutenant General Andrew Kwol-Nyon, commended efforts of the Department of Anti-Narcotic and of the Criminal Investigation for combating crimes in the country. He urges the two departments to be vigilant to arrest drug trafficking in the country. He advised the public to distance themselves from drug trafficking.
International Day. يعني ده يوم مهم عالمي ويوم بتاع المخدرات. And that is why it is being celebrated every year in June. الناس تحتفل كل سنة في شهر 6. Why is it important? ومهم ليه؟ المخدرات أو drugs زي ما قبل انتوا سميتوا من مدر.
Drug trafficking has become #1 global problem. It is a problem of local nature, it is a problem of interstate nature, it is also a problem of international nature. The United Nations estimates that the profits from drug trafficking are over $300 billion US dollars. $300 billion US dollars. That is many times more than the GDP of South Sudan.
Motorists are warned against violating traffic rules. The Inspector General of Traffic Police Major General James Biel echoed the warning on Thursday during the launching of a practical work of 30 traffic officers who have undergone a 1-month training.
نرسل سلامنا لكل مستخدمي الطريق في جنوب السودان ولمزيد من التوضيح نحن الآن في صينية 7 Day Adventist رجديلة. الغرض من تواجدنا في الشارع العام اليوم هي بداية حملة تدريبية تقوم بها الإدارة العامة للمرور بغرض تأهيل وتدريب أفراد شرطة المرور أثناء الشغل. الصباح الموظف لما يمشي في المكتب يلقى له زحمة يمكن ياخد حاجة بتاع 20 دقيقة واقف. لا نحن عايزين ننقص الكلام ده. علشان كده نحن دايرين نجيب إشارات ضوئية بالطاقة الشمسية لأنه كهرباء ما عندنا. لو إننا كهرباء مستديم كنا بنجيب.
More than 20 political parties in South Sudan converged on Thursday to urge the warring parties in South Sudan conflict to come with a non-military solution to the current conflict to end the suffering of the people in the country. The political parties further urged IGAD mediators to reconvene the talks with all the representatives of the stakeholders. More in the following report.
As the negotiation stakeholders in Addis Ababa talks return back to the country, political parties in Juba convened an urgent meeting on Wednesday, 25th of June, considering the outcome of the Addis Ababa talks. The whole distasteful situation said to be power struggle within one party sends an irritating political surrounding to the political parties' leadership forum in the country, raising a call to both IGAD mediators and the warring parties to find amicable solution to the differences.
We urge the IGAD mediators to reconvene the multi-stakeholders peace talks as soon as possible, so that a comprehensive peace agreement could be concluded within 6 days specified by the IGAD heads of the state and the government. Number 7, we call upon the two parties, the two warring parties, i.e. the government of the Republic of South Sudan and SPLA in opposition, to consider the plight of the masses of the people of South Sudan over the years and come to the negotiation table forthwith in good faith and with political will to stop the ongoing war and urge the country into sustainable, everlasting peace. Number 8, the last one but not least, the political parties decide to remain actively seized on the matter.
In this meeting, individual, group, and party interests seem to have been pushed aside, and 21 party representatives in the country present and signed the press release where the sense of exerting all the efforts to bring the conflict to a speedy end.
Now, all the stakeholders are involved in searching for peace. And that is why we as political parties and other stakeholders like civil society organizations, like the faith-based groups are active. And this is why we are meeting to see how best we can influence the process. It should not be left to the two parties alone.
South Sudan puts hope on the multilateral stakeholder negotiations in Addis Ababa to be the last window for the attainment of peace in the country. James Aruse Atango, SSTV.
And that's all for news in English. Let's have a look at our main items once again just before we go. Council of States endorses peace agreement between government and the group of Yao Yao. Ministry of Telecommunications to connect the country by optic fiber for internet. More than 30,000 students begin South Sudan secondary school exams on Friday. Thank you so much for choosing and staying with SSTV, and please do stay with SSTV. Thank you.